Welcome to WeLearn Virtual Learning Network. This is session number 5, Development of Personal and Moral Values. Topics which we are going to cover in this session are Introduction, Nature, Definition and Development of Personality, Theoretical Approach to Personality Development, Development of Moral Values, Theories of Moral Development, Environmental influences on moral development. Coming towards the first topic, that is the introduction of personality. Personality is a term widely used in popular language. People at large consider personality as the external appearance and behavior of the individual. We usually attribute personality to a person on the basis of his or her personal grooming, manner of walking, talking, style of dressing, etc. Personality, if equated to one's character, is a wrong notion. Personality is purely a psychological term. The task of understanding personality is one of the primary goals of psychology. Moving towards the nature and definition as well as development of personality. Now coming towards the definition. Personality is the dynamic organization within the individual of those psychological systems that determine his unique adjustment to his environment. Personality development implies tracking of connecting between the personality of a child and that of an adult. It is the understanding of how adult behavior and psychological processes evolve from a child. Needs for studying personality development. Why do we need to study? What is the basic need of personality development? Studying personality helps us to understand the functioning of the personality in its mature form. It helps us to predict adults' personality and personality distributions as well as their disturbances. We can understand the behavior of a person only if we know about the specific organization of his motives, beliefs, skills, attitude, etc. at different ages. Next is the molding of personality. How do we mold personality? It can be molded hereditary, through environment, through culture. Family plays an important factor for molding the personality of a person. Economic environment. If the person is economically sound, his personality is obviously good. Social role as well as the situation. Personality can be changed according to the situation. Next is the relative importance of hereditary and environment. Personality appears to be the result of both influences, inherited qualities, set of parameters or outer limits in shaping the personality. Social environmental factors can strengthen or weaken the inherited abilities. The social environment reinforces the development of hereditary personality traits as the child grows older. Heredity and environment are supplementary to each other. Personality development is not possible in the absence of either hereditary or environmental factors. Next is the theoretical approach to personality development. Development of a personality is a unique feature of an individual. Different psychologists approach personality development from different viewpoints or perspectives. Biological perspectives. The biological basis of personality is provided by research conducted in this field. It has been found that 50% of personality characteristics are genetically determined. The rest is determined by interaction with the physical and social environment. Next is the psychoanalytic theory of personality development. This theory assumes that the basic dynamics of personality includes the conflict between two opposing forces. These are anxiety arising from the inhibited of desires and defense against those desires that arouse anxiety. Next is the Freud's theory. He explained personality as the existence of conscious, preconscious, and unconscious in an individual. Next is the id, ego, and superego. Now, coming towards the id, what it exactly is. It is the unconscious reservoir of psychic energy. The other two systems operate on the psychic energy. It is present at the time of birth. It does not know how any mortality or reality act. It is concerned only with satisfaction of its wishes. If we are satisfied, we feel satisfied, then our id is also satisfied. Now coming towards the ego. Ego functions as a manager of personality. It obeys the principle of reality. It controls, selects, and decides what instincts of id are to be satisfied and in what manner it can be done. It plays very important function in a human's life. Next, moving to superego. Work on mortality principles. It represents the value of society. When we consider the morale, the ethics, the values of a person, then we say that we are working on superego. Human personality is the result of interaction among these systems. The presence of a powerful ego ensures a well-balanced personality. Next is the psychosexual stage in personality development. In addition to the concept of id, ego, and superego, Freud emphasized the importance of sex in personality development. He regarded the psychic energy for sex drive as the basis of personality. Next are the erogenous zones. In each stage of development, a child derives pleasure by stimulating a particular area of the body. These are known as erogenous zones. Next is the fixation. Too much or too little satisfaction in any stage results in fixation. This means that personality becomes emotionally fixed at a particular stage. This development takes place in 5 stages. Number 1 is oral, that is the first year when we are born. Pleasure is obtained by the stimulation of the mouth. Satisfaction at this stage lays the foundation for a man's adult personality traits like adjustability and intensity. Next is the anal stage, that is 2 to 3 years. If parents are too strict in teaching toilet habits, the child develops anxiety. He manifests his anxiety and anger by excreting at the most inappropriate time and place. Next is the phallic stage, that is 4 to 6 years. This is a very important period in the personality development of a person. At this stage, pleasurable sensation comes from self-manipulation of genital organs. Next is the latency period, that is from 6 to 12 years. Freud thought that sexual urges were dormant at this stage. The fact, however, is that this is the stage in which a person learns to befriend people of the same sex. Genital stage. This is the final stage of development of sexual interest, reawakens at this stage. There is interest in the opposite sex. Sexual attraction, socialization, and planning for a vocation, marriage, and family life begins at this stage. Next is the application to control HIV and AIDS. The impulse of id are controlled by ego and superego. But if it is more powerful, it will not give an importance to your voice of ego and superego. It will not give any concern for moral values also. It goes on enjoying pleasure giving activities. By controlling the id, undesirable sexual life can be prevented. Next is the social cognitive theories. Now we shall go through the social cognitive theories. These are the psychoanalytic theory is a broad term including behavior as well as social learning theories as well as cognitive psychology. Next is the observational learning. Albert Bandura gave a new approach to personality on the basis of social learning theory. Bandura and his co-worker demonstrated that we acquire most of our personality traits through observational learning with or without direct reinforcement. Drive reduction theory. This theory was presented by Dollard and Miller. When a person is impelled by drives, he learns responses to reduce them. Drive reduction provides rewards and reinforcement. This in turn gives rise to another drives. In this way, the individual learns new responses and new behavior pattern from our social environment. Application of control of HIV and AIDS. Personality traits are acquired through interacting with the environment. Our lives are not determined merely by our past experience, even though they are important. Learning processes and the continuity helps the individual to give up his or her habit. If a person has acquired a bad habit in sex, it can be changed. The presence of positive models are also of help in changing our bad habits. Next is the humanistic perspectives on personality. First is the development. This perspective emphasizes on holistic characteristics of human experience. Next is the Carl Rogers self theory. Carl Rogers proposed the self theory to explain personality development. Every day and every minute, we are confronted by the number of events in our environment. Next is self-actualization theory. The most well-known theory on self-actualization is Abraham Maslow theory of hierarchy of needs. He believed that human personality depends upon fulfilling of inborn potentials. Next is the application of control of HIV as well as AIDS based on these theories. Humanistic psychologists encourage us to see ourselves in terms of positive traits. Problem occurs because of our faulty self-image or unsupportive environmental forces. The message from this theory is that by controlling the environment, we can control negative exposure to life, especially in unhealthy sexual relations. Next is the triad approach. Triads are relatively permanent and consistent with the general behavior pattern that a person exhibits in many situations. There are 4 types of triads: common triads, unique triads, surface triad and source triads. So let's see first what is the common triads. Common triads are the triads which are distorted to the general population, triads which are common to all people. Unique triads. These are unique to a person. Surface triads. These are the triads which are recognized by the manifestation of our behavior. They are born on the superphysical levels. They are readily observable. Next are the source triads. These are the underlying structures of the sources which determine the behavior of an individual. Source triads are more important than surface triad. These triads are the basic sources of individuality. Now, how can we control HIV and AIDS according to this theory? According to the theory, the source and surface triads are very important in shaping a personality. The source triads are determined by the hereditary, while surface triads are influenced by environment. Both these triads have a very important role in controlling HIV and AIDS. The inherited triad should help the individual to control the environment. Next is the development of moral values. How can we develop moral values in an individual? Every culture, group has its own morals or standards of approved behavior. Certain acts are considered right because they are conducive to the welfare of its member, while certain other acts are wrong as they are dangerous to the welfare of society. No one is born with the knowledge of that one's culture, group considers right or wrong. As the child grows older, his or her conduct also develops and reflects upon his or her own moral life, as well as that of the group in which the person is a member. How do moral values influence the personality of an individual? Moral value directly influence the quality of the person's behavior and judgment. The person learns the values that satisfy his or her needs and desires and are at the same time approved by the group. How do we learn moral values? How the one come to know what are their values, what are governed by their society. There are certain cultural norms of behavior which are controlled by the society. Learning moral values refer to manner in which a child internalizes these norms and behaviors. He or she develops moral concept by learning what is right and what is wrong, and also by understanding the use of punishment and other techniques in inculcating moral values in children. Next is the socio-biological theories. The biological perspective of moral development is represented by the field called sociobiology. It assumes that mortality is rooted in the genetic heritage of our species. This can be seen from the personal behavior such as helping, cooperating, sharing. Next is the psychoanalytical theories. First one is the Freud's theory. Freud assumed that the resolution of Oedipus complex at the phallic stage marks the beginning of mortality. This conflict arouses fear and anxiety in child. He or she is worried about the loss of parental love. To overcome the anxieties, children identify with the same-sex parent. The hostility directed towards the same-gender parent is redirected towards the self in the form of guilt. This is the beginning of moral development in the child. Next is the current psychoanalytical theories. Recent psychoanalytic idea place greater importance on the sensitive emotional relationship between parents and children. According to Robert Emmett, and other emotional attachment is the vital foundation for acquiring moral standards. Children who feel secure in their relationship with parents are more likely to learn right behavior even from early years in life. Parents give not only prohibitions but also positive guidelines for the behavior. Next are the social learning theories. According to the traditional behavioristic view, children learn new responses through operant conditioning. They learn adult moral standards if their behavior is reinforced by the most important adult in their life, parents as well as teachers. The reinforcement can be in the form of praise, approval, or reward. Another way in which children pick up good or bad behavior is the imitating a role model. The influence of the model may last for several weeks after the actual experience. Next are the cognitive theories. Cognitive theorist assumes that the individual develop morally through construction. It means the process by which the child becomes capable of making a correct decision about the rightness or wrongness of an act in an conflicting situation. By this process, the child derives new moral insights. Piaget's theory, one of the earliest theory in the field of propounded by Piaget. Piaget emphasized the importance of rules in moral development. According to him, moral development is acquiring the acceptance and respect for rules applied in different situations. Piaget's stages of moral development. He identified two stages of moral development. In early years of life, children are not concerned about rules and their implications. But around the age of 5, they begin to recognize rules and show respect for whom. This stage is called heterogeneous mortality. The word heteronomous means under the authority of another. Next is the Kohlberg's extension of Piaget theory. According to him, there are 6 moral stages. They are grouped into 3 major levels consisting of 2 stages. First is the pre-conventional level. Moral values reside in external happenings. Moral understanding is based on rewards, punishment, and the power of authority figure. So these are divided into 2 stages. These are punishment obedience orientation and the instrumental purpose orientation. Second is the conventional level. This is the stage of most adolescents and result in our society. Moral values at this stage reside in conforming to social rules, good boy or girl orientation, and the social order maintaining orientation. Third is the post-conventional level. At this level, the individual defines morality in terms of abstract principles and values that apply to all situations and all societies. These are the social contract orientation and the another one is universal ethical principle orientation. Next is the environmental influence on moral development. Peer group interaction with age mates promotes moral understanding. The child has no inhibition in engaging in intense, animated discussions about moral issues with friends. Child rearing practice often physical punishment for a wrong act produce negative attitude in the child. Children are afraid of punishment. To avoid punishment, a child may rationalize his action or may tell lies to escape. The child may even become aggressive with no concern for others. Parents can disapprove of a wrong act and withdraw some privilege given to the child, in which case the child accepts his wrongdoing and there is a great resistance to temptation. Next is the discipline. Discipline aids the individual in developing moral values. While disciplining children, adults should emphasize the reason why an act is considered right while another one is wrong. These are by rewards or by punishment. and the other factors are the neighborhood, school, mass media, TV, newspaper, magazine, etc. teach the child culturally approved value of his social group. Next is the personality development and moral values. The development of personality takes place at home, at schools, and in society in the presence of others. The child learns moral values also from those sources. We notice a breakdown in family and social life. We are faced with many problems like genetic technology, sexual preservation, HIV, AIDS, and so on. These include threaten the lives of our future generation. In order of equip our youth to fight against all these forces of degradation, we have to inculcate good moral values in them. In today's society, learning a moral code is very difficult. The reasons are there are a number of different codes the person encounters within his environment. There are inconsistencies between the moral codes and the behavior of a person. And the last is social acceptance of new behavior patterns brings about change in moral codes. These conflicts slow down the development of moral values in an individual. Next is the moral development and HIV control. Cultivating good moral values will prevent the individual from indulging in unhealthy sexual relationship. This will prevent the occurrence of HIV to a certain extent. The society, through the institutions of marriage and family, regulate the sexual urges of man. Good moral values can help save an individual from the clutches of diseases like HIV, AIDS, STDs. Now in the last, there are a few questions based on this session. Question number 1 is, how did id, ego and superego function? Next is, what are the factors influencing the learning process? Next is, what are the factors promoting development of moral values? So that's all for this session. Thank you. Happy learning, we learning.